Mr. Gonzalo. And one night, when my cousin waited under her window to hear her sing, this other person who wanted to marry her presented himself unexpectedly. Laura, yes, I know. He insulted your cousin. The merchant insulted your cousin. Gonzalo says there was a quarrel. This led to the insult, led to a quarrel between my cousin and the merchant, Laura, and later a duel fight. In the beginning, the insult leads to a quarrel, and finally, the quarrel ends in a duel fight, physical attack. Gonzalo. Yes, at sunrise on the beach, the merchant was badly wounded. My cousin had to conceal himself for a few days, and later he had to flee the city, go away from the city. Both Gonzalo and Laura are talking about a love affair that happened in the past. In fact, they are talking about themselves, but they try to conceal their identities. Gonzalo says it was his cousin. Laura says it was a friend who was involved in the love affair, but in fact, they are talking about themselves. Laura, you seem to know the story well. Laura is asking. Laura is telling Gonzalo, come on, you know the story very well. Gonzalo, so do you, not just me, even you know the story well. What's the story here? The romantic story, the love affair. Laura, I have explained that a friend repeated it to me. Didn't I tell you? I came to know about this through a friend of mine. Gonzalo, yes, my cousin told me. I didn't know it was my cousin who told me, related this story to me. Then he tells himself, oh, this is Laura. Now Gonzalo realizes that it is none other than Laura who is sitting beside him on the bench. Laura, aside, why tell him he doesn't suspect? Laura also realizes that it is Gonzalo himself who is sitting beside her, but both of them try to hide, conceal their real identities. Why tell him he doesn't suspect? I would have told him, but he doesn't suspect, so why should I? Since he doesn't suspect me to be Laura, why should I tell him that? Gonzalo is a she is entirely innocent. She doesn't know who I am, but Laura knows it. Gonzalo also knows who she is. Laura knows who he is, but Gonzalo thinks that she is entirely innocent. She doesn't know who I am. Laura, was it you by any chance who advised your cousin to forget Laura? Now Laura is asking Gonzalo whether it was his or whether it was he who advised his cousin to forget that lady, Laura. Gonzalo, oh no, my cousin never forgot her. My cousin never forgot the lady. Laura, how do you explain, how do you account then for his contact? So later he seemed to behave as if he had forgotten her. So how do you account, how do you justify the subsequent contact of this man? Gonzalo, I'll tell you, the young man took refuge in my house after he had a fight with the merchant who wanted to marry Laura. That young man came to my house. Now, Gonzalo is telling another lie. The young man took refuge in my house, fearful of the consequences of the fight with a person highly regarded in the locality. The merchant was a man who was highly regarded in the area, in the locality. So my cousin was afraid of the consequences of the fight that he had with him. From my home, he went to Seville, a city in Spain. Then he came to Madrid, another city. He wrote Laura many letters, some of them in poetry, verse poetry. So after staying in my house for some time, he went to Seville. From Seville, he came to Madrid. He wrote Laura many letters, some of them in poetry. But undoubtedly, they were intercepted. It prevent someone or something from reaching a destination. Laura, he wrote Laura many letters, some of them in poetry verse, and undoubtedly the letters were caught by her parents, for she never answered at all. She did not reply to any letter that was sent by my cousin because all the letters were intercepted, all the letters were taken away, hidden by her parents. Gonzalo then in despair, so Gonzalo became highly desperate, believed his love lost him forever, joined the army. So Gonzalo became highly disappointed. Gonzalo became highly desperate and thinking that his love was gone forever, his love lost to him forever, joined the army after realizing that he lost his love forever, he joined the army, went to Africa, and there in a trench met a glorious death. Now, Gonzalo is telling her a blatant lie. What is a lie here? After feeling highly frustrated, after feeling highly disappointed because he lost his love, he joined the army, went to Africa, there in a trench while fighting against enemies, he met a glorious death. So Gonzalo is telling her that Gonzalo, that man who loved Laura, died while fighting, grasping, catching hold of the flag of Spain and whispering the name of his beloved Laura. Now Gonzalo tells him he fought in an army and he fought in a war and he met a glorious death while fighting, and while dying he held the flag of Spain aloft and whispered the name of his beloved Laura. Laura, oh, aside she tells, oh, what a dirty lie, atrocious, what a blatant lie, what a bad lie he is telling me, because Laura knows that it is Gonzalo who is sitting with her and talking about the love affair. Gonzalo aside, he tells himself, I could not have killed myself more gloriously. Gonzalo thinks that she has believed what he has told her, and he feels satisfied that he has told her a very, very nice lie. He told her a blatant lie, atrocious lie, saying that he was killed in a war. You must have been prostrated by the calamity. Prostrated. Calamity is misfortune. You must have been prostrated, affected, badly affected, became weak. So you must have become very, very weak after you came to know about the calamity. What is the calamity? The misfortune suffered, met with by his cousin. So when you lost your cousin, you were badly affected, weren't you? Gonzalo, yes, indeed, Sinora, ma'am, yes, that's right. I was very badly affected as if he were my brother. I felt that I lost my own brother. I presume, though, on the contrary, Laura in a short time was chasing butterflies in her garden, indifferent to regret. See, my cousin died in a war while fighting. And when he died, he had the name of Laura on his lips. He whispered the name of Laura while dying. But think of Laura, that ungrateful lady. What did she do? After some time, after she came to know about the death of Gonzalo, Laura recovered in a short time and she started enjoying herself by chasing butterflies in her garden, and she was indifferent to the tragedy, calamity. My cousin died in a war. I was badly affected by that, but Laura did not suffer, did not miss Gonzalo. Laura, oh no, sinner, no, mister, that's not right. Gonzalo says, yeah, every woman is like that. It is a woman's way. A woman forgets very soon when something goes wrong. When a woman comes out of a relationship, she soon forgets about him. When a tragedy strikes a woman, within no time she forgets, she comes out of that, she recovers and begins a new life. Laura. Even if it were a woman's way, the silver maiden was not of that disposition, character. Naura says, yeah, many women may be like that, I don't know. A woman may be like that, but the silver maiden, Laura, was not that of character. She was not of that character. My friend, that is Laura, awaited news for days, months, a year, and no letter came. After Gonzalo went away, she waited for some news about him. She waited for days, months, and a year, but no letter came from him. One afternoon, just at sunset, as the first stars were appearing in the sky, she was seen to leave the house. She left the house one evening with fast quickening steps and went her way towards the beach where her beloved had put his life in danger. So one evening she came out of the house and walked towards the beach where her lover had put his life at risk. He had risked his life. So, how did the beloved risk his life? By fighting against the merchant, by attacking the merchant. She wrote his name on the sand. So Laura went to the same spot where the fight took place, where the duel took place. She wrote his name on the sand, sat down upon a rock, and her look fixed upon the horizon. So she sat on a rock. She wrote his name on the sand, sat down on a rock, and went on looking at the horizon. The waves murmured their eternal threnody. Threnody here, sad song. The waves were singing sad songs. The waves were singing songs of lamentation and slowly crept up to the rock where the maiden sat. After some time, the waves rose high, came up to the rock where she was sitting. The tide rose with a sound, the waves rose with a loud boom, loud sound, and swept her out to sea. Laura did not enjoy herself after she lost her lover. In fact, she went to the beach and sat on a rock. She went on sitting on the rock thinking about her lover until the waves rose high and took her out into the sea. So she also got killed. Laura says she lost her life. The sea took her away. The waves took her away. Gonzalo, oh God, is it true? Laura, the fishermen of that show who often tell the story affirm that, state that it was a long time before the waves wash away the name written on the sand. The fishermen who go to the shore often tell this story to one another, and they say that the name that she wrote on the beach remained there for a very, very long time. It was only after a long time the waves washed away the name written on the sand by Laura. Then she tells herself, oh, you will not get ahead of me in decorating my own funeral. Gonzalo decorated his own death, his own funeral, by saying that he died in a war. Gonzalo died in a war, fighting for the country, and while dying, he whispered the name of Laura. Now, Laura tells him, seems to be telling Gonzalo, see, if you can decorate your death, I can also decorate my death, my funeral. So, how does Laura decorate her own funeral? By saying that she went and sat on a rock and the waves took her away, and the name that she wrote on the sand remained a long time after she died. Gonzalo sighed. She lies worse than I do. Gonzalo knows what is the truth, what the truth is. Gonzalo knows what the truth is. So he's telling himself, oh, I have told a lie. She's a worse liar. She lies worse than I do. Nora, poor Laura. Gonzalo, oh, poor Gonzalo. Laura aside, I will not tell him that I am married 2 years later, but now the truth comes out. What's the truth about Laura? Laura did not get herself killed. Laura was not taken away by the waves. 2 years after the lover went away, Gonzalo went away, she married someone else. That's the truth. Gonzalo aside, Gonzalo tells himself the real truth. In 3 months, I ran off to Paris with a ballet dancer. So, what is the truth? Don Gonzalo, after fighting with the merchant on the beach, he ran off to Paris. 3 months after the fight, he ran away to Paris with a ballet dancer. He fell in love with a ballet dancer and went away. But what has he told her? He has told her that Gonzalo met with a tragic end in a battlefield. And what did Laura say? Laura tells him that Laura died. Laura was taken away by the waves in the sea. Laura, fate is curious. Here you are and I, here are you and I, complete strangers met by chance discussing the romance of old friends long ago. They are not talking about old friends, they are talking about their own romance. We have been conversing as if we were old friends. Laura says, Gonzalo. Yeah, fate is curious, no doubt. Considering the ill natured introduction, prelude to our conversation, Gonzalo says, yeah, that's very strange. Fate is very strange. See, just think of the way in which we started talking to each other. In the beginning, we had a nice introduction. Not a nice introduction, bad prelude. What is a bad prelude here? In the beginning, they started quarreling with each other. Only after taking the snuff, they became close. Laura, you scared away the birds. I got angry with you because you frightened my birds away. Gonzalo, I was wrong, perhaps. I was unreasonable. Earlier, he had fought with her by saying that's a public park, but now he says, sorry, I made a mistake. Laura, yes, that was very clear. I know you were unreasonable, sweetly. Are you coming again tomorrow, Mr. Gonzalo? Are you coming tomorrow again? Gonzalo, most certainly. If it is a sunny morning, I'll definitely come. Not only will I not scare away the birds, I'll bring a few more crumbs, few more pieces of bread. Gonzalo says, I'll be coming tomorrow if it is sunny. If the morning is sunny, I'll be definitely coming. I won't scare away your birds. More than that, when I come tomorrow, I'll bring a few crumbs to be given to birds. Laura, thank you very much. Birds are very grateful and we pay attention. I wonder where maid is. Where is she? Petra signals for her maid.